I get it. Marketing can be absolutely overwhelming at times, but the key to success is learning from other people's mistakes so that you don't make those same mistakes and getting the fundamentals in place first. We're going to dig into a number of common marketing mistakes today and the fundamentals with our special guest. You do not want to miss this. Hi, I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing, where we believe marketing shouldn't be difficult. All you need is the right plan. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I am really excited to have with me Steve Brown from ROI Online. He is also the author of a marketing book called The Golden Toilet, which I'm sure we will get into here today. Steve, welcome, and thanks for being here, man.
Hey, I'm proud to be here. I'm looking forward to this.
Yes. Well, and I had the pleasure of being on your podcast a while back. So nice to kind of switch sides of the mic here and dig into some of this stuff. I know we're going to talk about some things that are near and dear to both of our hearts here when it comes to marketing. So before we get into that, I want to ask you some rapid fire questions just to help us get to know you a little bit better. You ready to jump in with both feet here?
I guess we'll start off with the stressful stuff.
Okay, so when you're not working, how do you like to spend your time?
I'd love to cook.
Okay, awesome. Anything in particular or just?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like, you go out to eat and you eat something and it's every once in a while it crosses about, I could cook this, and then I'll research a little bit. It's just a way for me to be creative and kind of enjoy. And then the people that I cook for, it's fulfilling for me to do that. But I love kind of just cooking towards this vision of what it's supposed to taste like, whether it be Indian food or fish or any kind of food. I love to kind of figure it out.
Cool. I love it. What's your hidden talent?
My hidden talent is I've been in these organizations, and it gravitates to me starting to align the folks, kind of being a leader and aligning people by their natural talents. People volunteer for things, but maybe it's not exactly the best place they should be. But when you kind of get them positioned, then they just soar and people have fun, and it's less. Anyway, that's kind of my hidden talent.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Steve, there's no silver bullet. We all think there's this one thing. If we can just figure out this one thing, it'll all be okay. But it's so disappointing. It's not true.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to sit down and do the work. But that's the differentiation between someone who's excellent and someone who's still learning.
Yeah.
They haven't accepted that, I'm going to have to dig in, make a commitment, and be persistent.
I love it. No silver bullet. What's the one thing about you that surprises people?
I'm an author. I didn't know I had it in me. It surprised me, but yeah. I'm good at writing. I had this thing kept bugging me, and I kept saying no or avoiding it. It was like, Steve, you need to write a book. You need to write. I have all these clients come to me and they ask me a version of the same question. And I would tell them, I have 20 minutes. I'd tell them, and then it kept gnawing at me. You need to write a book so that you can give clarity to more people. So finally I did that.
Well, I know it's a lot of work. I have not done it, but the people I know that have done it have described the pains of writing a book. So
yeah.
What does success mean to you?
I think success is being fulfilled, and being fulfilled comes from getting to spend the time on the things that you enjoy that bring you fulfillment.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a luxury when you can spend the time on the things that you really derive fulfillment from.
Where's your happy place?
I love being a part of a team, and because we all bring our different things to the table. So being part of a team, I feel more whole. I feel like I don't have to do everything, but as long as the team's kind of open to respecting everyone's different values, to me, that's just like the sweet spot.
Awesome. What about qualities? What qualities do you value in the people you spend time with?
People who have determination and persistence and like making a commitment. And as you work through that, you're going to doubt that commitment. You're going to waver. You're going to experience all these things that make you maybe want to quit. But I love it when people just dig down and expect it of themselves.
Yeah, I love it. Let's talk about what you're doing with ROI Online. We can certainly talk about the book, but just help us better understand, what kind of clients are you working with? How do you help them?
The people always ask you, like, so what's your perfect client? And I think before you can really know that, you needed to decide what you believe, right? And so I believe that the entrepreneurs of our day are like the invisible heroes of our economy. When you think about it, did you know that the average entrepreneur has 20 or less employees? When you think about that person, they're wearing all sorts of hats. They were stupid enough to start a business, right? And think that they could hire employees, they could sell, they could design products, they could do HR, they could do all those things. They did it anyway, and they risked their future, their family's future. And yet, what do they end up doing? They actually bring us products and services that improve our lives, right? And so when I think about who is it that I serve, it's these folks. These are my heroes, right? And they all have to, especially after this past year, they have to all make it through this scary forest of getting their act together online.
Yeah.
All their clients, their prospects, their employees are expecting them to have a really nice user experience platform that helps them figure out what they do and how to interact with them. And yet everyone has to do that while they wear all the other hats, right? And so I just want to help them to avoid all the mistakes that I made in the past 10 years, 15 years of this industry.
Got it. So you're really helping them get those fundamentals in place and make sure that they have a plan of how they are going to market their business online.
Yeah, they have, I believe there's 4 things you got to get in place. And that's what my book's about. But you have to get your messaging clear. You have to get baked in. That messaging has to be baked in somewhere. Most of us think it's website, but all sorts of different places. But there's some technology that you have to embrace. That's marketing technology. Then there's a sales version of that.
Yeah.
You have to have that, because great, you do all this marketing. What are you going to do with them after they show up? You have to run them through a sales process.
Yeah.
Then once you get those fundamentals, that foundation in place, then you can start running strategic campaigns. Be very strategic about it, because you have the system set up now to accommodate them, to expedite them, to communicate with them.
Awesome. I love it. So you had mentioned mistakes that you've made plenty. I have made plenty myself. What's the number one mistake you see business owners making with their marketing?
The thing and why I titled my book absurdly was to get them off the anchor of seeing only a website. You have to see a system. This is a legitimate business system that you're designing, not a website. It's not a hurry, let's get this website done and move on to real business. It's about, this is a sales enablement process.
Yeah.
And when you back up and think of it as a business person, it's a legitimate process, like your HR process or your invoicing process. This is the same. And so I want you to avoid getting hung up on all the little, the shiny things of a website, and think about, how is this going to help you communicate better, sell better, prospect better, market better? So
are they not viewing their website and its purpose in the right light?
That it's amazing. I've had, You know those foreign movies that you watch and their lips are doing this, but the subtitles are different,
Yeah.
or what they're really saying. And
Yeah.
when I realized that the common thing that all these folks were saying, this is what they were saying. They'd come in and say, hey, I think I need to redo my website, get some SEO, and do some social media marketing. But when you think about what they're really saying is, Steve, as a business owner, I I am being forced to invest in this, and I expect it to move the needle some way to help me do a legitimate business process here. But I'm having to deal with these creative web designers that don't really care about my business. They just want to make this pretty thing that they're
Yes.
proud of. And it's a waste of my time. At least it has been the last thing. So I'm trying to figure out how to avoid that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's plenty of people that can make sites pretty.
Hmm.
The key is making them effective, right?
Yeah. And so when you think about the deliberateness that went into your actual physical place of business, there's a sign on the door that says when you're open. You even in the parking lot, it's clear where you park.
Yeah.
And when you come in, where do you check in? Where do you order? Where do you pick up your order? Where do you transact? That's all clear in the physical world. But your virtual presence is usually like frustrating, confusing, and they just spend a few minutes there. If that much, they spend a few seconds and they go, oh, I don't know. And they leave and they go somewhere else. That's
Yeah.
the real business problem that we're addressing.
So we've talked about the fundamentals a little bit. What do you see as the fundamentals of digital marketing?
Yeah, you need to get clarity. If you think about, here's the thing. We were born with a brain, and that brain was designed thousands of years ago. It's version 1. It's not version 2 or 3 or 4. It's version 1. And your communication, be it in person, digitally, still has to honor the rules of story. That's what our brains crave. Communication that honors the rules of story. And that's in play. And that's the biggest lever that you can address online. It's the biggest lever that you can master as a leader. But yeah, getting that message clear, quickly communicating that to the person that's coming there and evaluating, quickly communicating that, hey, we understand you and you're safe here.
Yeah. So everything from a digital marketing standpoint really needs to start with the messaging, what you say, how you communicate, what you do, and the value that you offer.
Yes, it needs to here's what's broken about marketing. Everyone designs for algorithms. Everyone worships Google. Please, Google, approve me.
Yeah.
Approve of me. Give me your blessing. Okay. Mostly falling for the traps of all these things that are digitally sexy, right? But they're missing the point. There's a human on the other end that's expecting
Yes.
to do I belong here? Do they have what I need? Can they help me?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's got to be put into a digital technology. So that's where all the disconnect happens. And those that miss the clarity of communication in the digital world are losing. But the brands that naturally get it, it's an easy win.
Yeah.
Competition's low.
So outside of our messaging, what other fundamentals do we need to keep top of mind from a digital marketing standpoint?
So when everybody looks at the top or the tip of the iceberg, but below, any great brand that you enjoy, they have the user experience all figured out. So if you go and you're like, hey, I like this, you sign up for a class or you fill out a form for a coupon or whatever, all the follow-up flow after that, it's like, Tim, thanks for filling this out. And remember just like the communication we had for this show. Steve, remember your show's coming up at this date. Here's the process. Here's the technology. Have your, all the things you thought through, all the things that would make this process easy. Okay. That's what winning brands do, but that's what all people expect of you,
Yeah.
no matter what size. And so to think through and then take advantage of the technology to make it like super easy. I don't have to talk on the phone. I just get a little text, a little reminder. Well, that's nice. I can go back to what I was doing, hanging out with my kids instead of having to answer a phone and answer a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
It's removing all of the stupid taxes, the extra, the extra luggage or extra like things that we don't need to really do. That's what the technology, that's what marketing automation does. And then when we're ready, when the marketing automation kind of addresses us one to many, it's like the common questions, frequently asked questions, most people this, here's what other people found interesting. Sales automation expedites and facilitates more of a more personalized last steps. You think about the brands that you enjoy. What do? You research, you look, you investigate, you spend time, and then at the last moment, you risk talking to a human. And I say risk because that's what you've been avoiding. I don't want to waste time. I want this to be easy. I think these guys are who I can trust. This might be comfortable. And then when they show up, remember that time you did that process. You went over to the shop, you walk in, and the person that you dealt with was a jerk. You left upset and emotional to the point, I'm going to go to Yelp and write a review. Now,
Yeah.
why? Why did you feel so upset? It's because what you expected from your research experience was not congruent with your in-person experience.
Yep.
That's why the messaging that we worked so hard in the first step, baked in with the marketing, has to be congruent in the sales follow-up stuff. Okay? You just can't have your salesperson saying whatever because they don't read your book. They don't go to the website. They don't know. They're trying to do the best, you would hope, but it can be incongruent and feel, oh, danger. I'm backing out of here.
So we start with our message. From there, we have marketing automation, and that marketing automation is helping us nurture those people that have raised their hand and said, I at least have some interest in what you have to offer.
Yeah.
And that nurturing nurtures them until the point where that need or that pain they have is great enough where they want to now have a sales conversation. And that's when the sales automation and that sales process starts to kick in. Is that right?
Yeah. When they're investigating and they're deciding whether you're good enough to consider.
Yeah.
Sales conversation is, all right, I'm convinced. You don't have to sell me. Help me see what it looks like in my situation. Okay. But I still have to communicate with you. So sales automation is like I go, hey, I want to set a time to talk to somebody. I should get a confirmation. I should be able to pick what's convenient for me, get a confirmation that worked. Here's the links. I just click or I go in or whatever the appointment is. And then when I hang up, I should get some follow-up stuff, last minute questions specifically for me. And here's how to transact. And here's what the onboarding looks like. That's sales automation as opposed to marketing automation.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. And that feels right. That feels comfortable. That removes all the extra back and forth we don't need.
It brings consistency into the process, right? So that hopefully the results are more predictable.
It brings in confidence. It brings in safety. It communicates thinking and thought of the process and what feels right. And it makes me feel like I made a good choice, because even though I decided, I'm still wondering, did I make a good choice? It's a
Yeah.
great time to really solidify. Yeah, you made a great choice. You pick some folks that think stuff through.
Yeah.
They're organized.
So we have one more fundamental we're going to
Yeah.
talk about, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So what's that fourth fundamental?
so this is where most companies, website firms, or what, they start with this before they have all this other worked out. And it's strategic campaigns. They're really not even strategic. They're just campaigns. Hey, we're going to write some social media posts for you. We're going to write some blogs. We're going to run some ads. But you're the business owner, and you're going like, they're going to ask you, so what do you want your ad to say? And what do you want to happen? I don't know. It was like, buy now or what? And it's like, no. How cool would it be if you're a business owner and go, well, this is what I want it to say. Here's my clearly defined messaging. Here's what I want it to look like. Here's my brand colors. Here's my logo. Here's my fonts.
Yeah.
And here's the link. When you click on this link, I want it to go to this landing page, because this ad is going to promote exactly what that person's going to expect. When they land there, they're going to find exactly what they expected. And it's going to go finish out why they should identify who they are. They're going to trade their contact information because they perceive value.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of a strategic campaign, because now you think about all the ads that you've ran that, well, that didn't work. Social media didn't work. It's because you weren't sending them to a place that was like waiting for them. Welcome. You found exactly what you're looking for. Come right over here. Here's the information, and here's how you get it.
So with a strategic campaign, let's dig a little bit into this, because I think I'm assuming that a strategic campaign can be all kinds of different things, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So what are some examples of various strategic campaigns people might want to consider?
Exactly. So let's say that you have a new service that you're rolling out. Okay. So, all right, I got a new service. Now I need to introduce it to people. But before I introduce it to people, I need to make sure I've got all my system and people ready to answer the questions. Okay. So that's below the iceberg. The strategic campaign is obvious above the iceberg, right? So now it's like, all right, I have my product. I have a landing page. I tell them how to go to the next step. So now I just need to make that landing page more busy. So what would we do? Well, let's think about all the questions that people would ask about that product and quickly answer those questions with a little 1-2 minute video. Okay. Then we take that video and we're going to set it inside a blog. And the blog is going to do an intro about what this video is about and what question it's answering. And then below it, it's going to have a link to that landing page. And then you post that blog. But imagine also posting social media posts that promote that blog, that promotes the landing page. Okay. And then imagine running some ads that when people click on the ad, there's some hook there that gets them to go, I'm interested in what that service is. And they click on an ad. Guess where it drops them? Right there on that landing page, all about that service. Most people, when they click on that ad, they drop them on the homepage. I hope you find what you're looking for. See ya.
So it's really about your campaigns. You're setting up all the steps within that campaign that's going to lead people to take that action that you want them to take. And then once those are set up, then it's a matter of determining which ways you want to expose people to the start of that particular strategic campaign. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Think about the ads that you've run, the social media posts that you've done, the blogs that were just like losers, duds. Well, it's because there wasn't a strategy there. So you think about, I have a landing page now with a service or a product that I want to promote. Now I have direction. I have clarity about what I should write about on a blog. Anything, any of the 100 questions, you can write 100 blogs to answer every little specific question about that service or product that's on that landing page. Which means if you have 100 blogs, you could literally have 5 to 10 social media posts off each blog.
Yeah.
You could have ads running.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yes, you there? We had
Yes.
little technical glitches. That's all good. Yeah, so we were talking about strategic campaign. Okay, so those are the four fundamentals. Messaging gotta come first. Then you've got marketing automation, which is nurturing. Then that sales automation picks up when people actually raise their hand and say, I'm interested.
Mhm.
And then you've got to have your strategic campaigns that are really fueling that entire process.
Yeah.
I love that. So we just went through digital. What about the most important fundamental, just from an overall marketing standpoint? What do you see that being?
The most important fundamental, I believe, is like really, really nailing. You think about what's the biggest challenge any leader faces. Got all this vision in their head, all this inspiration. Why did I risk everything? Because I see something in here that doesn't exist and I'll make it happen. But my challenge is, how do I pull it out of there, format it, and package it in a way that the people that want to help me bring it to fruition can understand and direct their energies to the same point on the horizon? So again, it's clear message. You think about all the thought leaders that you enjoy following, they have these sayings. They have this part figured out because they've been deliberate about it. They spent time on it. They practiced so that the moment they do get your attention, that little brief, most valuable thing that you could have ever given them, a little bit of your time, and they don't waste it. They clearly, concisely communicate whatever it is they want to say.
What do you think? What do you think is the most important aspect of being able to create clear messaging? Because I agree with you. So I honestly, I can't even think of a potential business prospect that I've talked to in the last 2 years that had their messaging where it needed to be. So it's a very common issue that a lot of businesses deal with. Why do you think they struggle so much to create that clear message?
We've been industrialized. We're like chickens on conveyor belts instead of free range chickens. In a way, okay? When it comes to our communication, we think through school, university, whatever, we think that text is the business way to communicate, but it's not. Every one of us has this brain that is a story craving brain. So being able to format communications in a that honors the rule of story is why clear messaging is how you can have an extreme competitive advantage. And it's like, how do I quickly communicate to you that I understand you and that you're safe hanging out and spending a little time with me? It's to be able to go in some way and for you to go, oh, I relate. Oh, wow. That makes sense to me. Okay. they struggle. Like, we remember me talking about when the common theme of the questions that,
Yeah.
okay, they struggle to use the right words because they don't know my industry. They know theirs, but they feel it. So when you go, so I understand, Tim, that this is important to you, that we need to set up some fundamentals and that we're not going to waste a bunch of time like you did last time. You start to feel like, well, I guess he would say that, but he's sure hitting on some points that I was feeling.
Yeah.
Well, I've done some research. I understand my people, right? So
Yeah.
I'm, instead of tell you how great I am, I'm going to tell you, I understand how important this is. This is almost a matter of life and death as far as your business is concerned, because now it's very clear that the physical interaction that you've been depending upon for years can be yanked out from you. It was last time, might happen again. This is a matter of life and death for a business to get their act together online.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said something there that I think is really easy for people to miss. You had touched on, hey, I need to understand my people, the people that I'm trying to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Once you understand exactly who you intend to serve and work with, and you can almost enter that conversation that they're having in their head,
Mm-hmm.
that enables you to create messaging that's going to be clear and engaging for those people.
Yeah.
Right.
So you think about, people ask me, do you specialize in law firms or plastic surgeons or whatever? And it's like, I just got to thinking about it. No, I specialize in progressive minded business owners that are already convinced they need to do something because they understand that there's an impending event of this online adoption they need to get into.
Yeah.
I don't need to be wasting my time trying to convince something that a storm is coming.
Yeah.
I want to work with the people that know it or want to quickly get their ship built
Yeah.
and get ready.
I love it. You've shared a lot of really good info with us, Steve. Any last minute words of wisdom, guidance you want to leave us with before we close things out?
I'm just going to hammer, see a system, not a website. There is no silver bullet. There's a comprehensive interaction
Yeah.
of answers that have to, and it takes time and it takes commitment to figure that out.
So would you say you see marketing as a system? There's multiple cogs. We got to get those cogs working together. And when we do, that's when we're going to start to see more consistent, repeatable results.
Yes. Don't see marketing as that ditzy cheerleader.
Yeah.
Okay. The one that's kind of fun to hang out with for a little bit until now it's time for business. You're dismissed.
Yeah.
This is a legitimate business process. It needs to be at the table, helping you to decide what numbers you need to hit and how they can support you. That's how you should look at this.
I love it and totally agree. So where can people learn more about you? You've shared a lot of great stuff, Steve. Where do you want people to go to learn more?
Well, ROIOnline.com. It's, I named it that because I wanted to communicate that I understand that you expect there to be a return on investments here. So that's why it's ROIOnline.com. We work with folks. It's called the Pit Stop, where we do some consulting. We'll kind of banter and figure out what's best for you. We do this in weekly meetings for an hour. It's called the Pit Stop.
Awesome. So people go to ROIOnline.com/pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
They can learn more about that, schedule an introductory call to dig into all these fun things that we chatted about today.
Yeah. It's just an ongoing interactive coaching program. And we're going to talk about your fundamentals, of course, but we're going to figure out what's unique about your situation and how to set you up for success.
Awesome. Steve, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. You've shared a lot of great stuff with us today. Again, I am Tim Fitzpatrick. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to gain some clarity on where to focus your marketing efforts right now, hop on over to our website, rialtomarketing.com. That's RIALTO marketing.com. Click on the Get a Free Consult button. Guarantee you'll walk away having some clarity on where you need to focus based on where you are right No. Thank you so much. Till next time. Take care.